Welcome to the alternate version of Stage 2, and even though I say alternate version, it's really entirely different. Depending on where you smack that fire hydrant from, it shoots water from a different direction, and as you saw, it can hit enemies, though I don't think it deals any damage worth talking about. Still, the fire hydrant is a cute detail. Now, on to Thor. Thor doesn't have a dash or run like most of the other characters. He has a really heavy roll, so he's not all that agile, as you can see here. However, there are many tank characters in this game, and Thor is one of those, so we're going to be using him as such. He has a lot of health, and more importantly, his projectile attack is a little bit ridiculous in a good way. It summons a jolt of lightning that covers a deceptively large amount of planes, so it can hit enemies a decent amount above or below where you're aiming at, as you saw when we took out 2 motorcycles for the price of 1. Even though I consider spamming Thor's projectile the ideal way to play with him, we're still going to get hit a few times. Hey look, it's a new enemy type. This thing's most dangerous attack is that it fires an ice beam. The ice beam also has a deceptive range on it, so we don't want to stand in front of it at all. Thankfully, we have enough special meter that we can deal with it with a single ultimate attack. Very few enemies are able to survive that, if any. You've seen how much damage it deals to bosses after all. Anyway, as I was saying earlier, we're going to be taking some damage with Thor no matter what, because I can't move around the way I like to with Quicksilver or Beast, but he has his own strengths, which you're seeing right here, primarily the projectile. We also have, You go, Ant-Man, go get him. Look at him go, look at him flail his arms. We also have Ant-Man with us. And I guess he does an okay job of fighting the bad guys, but he tends to die really easily, way more easily than Beast's robot buddy. These flea robots that are being obscured by the trees are from Captain America and the Avengers, as many of the enemies are, and I prefer dealing with them using a jump attack when we're playing as Thor, because Thor's jump attack is very generous. With Quicksilver or Beast, I think a dashing attack would probably do just fine. Of course, if we're a significant distance away from them, we can just use Thor's projectile. But that doesn't always work out. Also, I wanted to show that we could throw enemies straight in the air. I've tried to combo them after throwing them straight up, but that hasn't worked out for me yet.
Don't be frightened. I'm just curious to see if you can handle a real sword.
Leave it to me!
Viper here is really fast, and her AI always runs toward the side of the screen you're on, but more important than that, when she gets halfway across the screen, she fires her gun at you, and it seems to hit no matter what. This is a pattern I've seen her replicate nearly every time, where she runs, and when she gets a decent distance away, she'll fire her gun and run the rest of the way towards you. It's not a bad strategy, but our projectile, like I said, is a little bit ridiculous, so we're going to be spending most of the fight doing this. It's not quite as damaging as if we were to hit her with our ultimate, but it's a lot more safe, honestly. And if she does actually manage to make it over here to our side of the screen, we want to throw her away. We don't want to run away from her. We're not as fast as her. We want to throw her away instead. The fight gets a lot more difficult when the enemies with flamethrowers appear, and we need to very precisely time our projectiles so that way it can hit the enemies with flamethrowers and Viper. Because if we let Viper run for too long, she'll shoot us with her gun, and then the flamethrower enemies and her will team up on us, and we'll have to throw them all away. But for this fight, I believe I managed to stay firmly planted the whole time, which I'm very proud of.
Why don't you die?